Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and welcome back to episode 4 of Digimon Beat Break. Family is the title. This episode is probably the weakest so far, and it's because it is a team building one, and it's not the most interesting. It's pretty standard bare by the bones. It doesn't do anything special. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. Rewatching it, I did like it a little bit more, but it just, I don't know. We needed this kind of episode, especially going forward, and given the character of Tomorrow Tenma, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't do anything special. It didn't do anything out of extraordinary. It was kind of, it played safe, essentially. And the premise of this episode, basically, is there is a Machmon going around cutting up semi-trucks and transport trucks, and the owner is taking the goods and selling them to... They're dropping off at a location to a certain shady organization when we find out that at the end of the episode. But yeah, they're just stealing goods. And the Ministry of Civil Protection wants them to get captured. Now, some interesting details we do learn is that one of the reasons why Glowing Dawn doesn't kill Digimon is because the reward is lower. If you kill a Digimon, then it's after reward. But if you keep the Digimon alive, get the perpetrator and everything, it's full complete reward. So we do learn a little bit more about that. Although I still think there's something a bit shady of them wanting the Digimon, because you take the Digimon in and get it, and they'll take care of it. I'm assuming there's something super shady, like maybe they're examining it for future uses. Maybe making their own artificial Digimon or like a human big weapon, like in Digimon Story Time Stranger. Oddly enough, I don't know. Just there's something odd about that. Like maybe something weird. Like they want you to keep it on. Maybe there's something good about there's something positive. But governments they're an organization. They're being of necessity evil. So they gotta have to do something shady. I'm sorry, but that's just the way of the beast. So we do learn a little bit about that, but Kyo doesn't want to get involved in this episode. He doesn't want to be part of this the job, and so he leaves it to Reina to take care of it. And Kyo whispers with magic words like, I'm trusting you and everything, and she's like, okay, boss, I'll do it. She's all very happy about it, and maybe there's a bit of love for him, or it's just she's doing it because Glowing Dawn accepted her. We do get some backstory about this, but yeah. So it's time for them to have a bit of a world building, a bonding episode. So she's going to be the leader. Now, Tomorrow is not having it. This like he wants to. We found out he wants to work with them in order to save his brother. He has no interest in being part of the group other than for that, and it's perfectly acceptable. Also, by her. She kind of screws up into being a leader. Like when they go tackle the Machmon, she doesn't give him any directions on what to do. It's like because he acts so off-putting, like he doesn't want to be part of the group. She just treats him that way, and that's kind of not how she should be a good leader. We see that a little bit later. Like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. So because she doesn't give him direction and doesn't treat him nicely, Geckomon interferes with Wolvermon, things screw up, and then unfortunately, she gets injured. We do get to see feet action. I did not like. I mean, I like the feet, but I didn't think it was very well earned. But she gets all pissy, yells at him like when and Tomorrow like flat out say like I'm not part of this family. I'm only here for one objective. She does kind of rub him off the wrong way. She is a crude person. I mean, she's a tsundere redhead. So, and she didn't do a good job at being a leader. Like in the second episode when Tomorrow got upset, like his brother and everything, Kyo just kind of responded calmly and just took him aside. And I think Reina didn't do the best thing to do. She didn't talk to him the most efficient manner. She wasn't being very leader-like. But, Reina has a conversation with Kyo. It's like, he used to be like you. He has nowhere to go. His family's abandoned him. And we kind of learn a little bit about her backstory. because she's such a crude person, or a person with a lot of passion. She's been moved around different cleaner groups, and she just doesn't jive with them. So she's going in and out of groups, and then this is the only one accepted. Now, I believe that Glowing Dawn, from a couple things I want to gather, is Glowing Dawn had more members maybe at some point, and then they just kind of scattered away. Or Kyo is part of other groups as well. Along the lines, that's just what I kind of gather. And I also suspect one of the reasons that maybe it's a foreshadowing, the reason Kyo is giving Reina the responsibility of forming the group is maybe he's not always going to be around. Maybe something bad will happen to him. I think it's just assumed that the episode is implying, maybe he's got some other business or something, and she's got to step in because she's the older member and she needs some responsibility, and she needs to jive with tomorrow, which they end up doing. This is a very cute scene because you see that when the Digimon don't necessarily consume human food other than Gekkomon, but the way she enjoys tea, and Cougarmon it's like that's an odd way of consuming tea. She just makes that notice, but they do some reflection. Koto and Tomorrow talk, and ultimately she's a good person. It came out that she's a good person, but I think just she's trying to be a big sister for Tomorrow, and Tomorrow's like, no, you have not earned that right for me personally. So I think that's how he sees it. And we see that she gave a rice cracker to Gekkomon at the middle of the night. That was something that also was kind of weird, is like when they transition from the next day, like when Tomorrow and Makoto are on the road and just kind of like sitting on the road. It's the next day, and I never got the impression it was the next day. It was kind of weird, like we never saw the outside. It was interesting, but they do come up with a plan. They say, they apologize, like, all right, we got a plan, let's do it. We see some gorgeous shots of Makmon. They take care of his butt. We see some excellent shots of actually, hold on. We'll see some excellent shots of Wolvermon, but yeah. So they have this good fight scene. Now, this, along with the bullet shot and everything, so this is coming flying at her. Tomorrow will block this, of course, but he only gets away with a broken arm, and maybe his minor fractured. It just, I understand it's a kid show, but they kind of should put there should be a little bit more gore involved with this. I think Reina should have been, like, in addition to having a sprained ankle, she should have also maybe got hit by a bullet shot from Makamon, like, bullet kind of grazed her. And I kind of also think that Tomorrow should have had this thing stuck out of his arm. I don't know. I get it's supposed to be for all ages and everything, but the believability for this scene was, yeah. But we get to see a little bit more personal dimension fights. Wolvermon flies. She's got a lot of good moments in this episode that I absolutely adore. We see Wolvermon can actually be competent. But they clean house, and they're now friends. And that's where we kind of learn the shady organization. Now, I want to bring this scene up. So he has rolled down windows. We know this is a post-apocalyptic society. It's in a futuristic society. And as someone whose uncle works in the car industry and who he has friends with, roll-up windows are actually more expensive to build than put like the button ones. So him having one of these is actually a bit rare. He's very old school. I don't know. This seemed a little out of place. Like, oh yeah, roll-up windows. Those are very old. That's old. Like that. Like, of course, the electronic windows would be too modern. I'm like, no, this is something very special. He's got something older than 2000s. I don't. I don't buy this. I don't know. This part seemed a little suspension of disbelief. I'm like, I don't think he would actually have this, but I believe Yoshi's the one who takes care of the Digimon, the in training, and maybe takes it to the civil protection or something, or takes him back to the digital world. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's sort of his involvement. And the final scene I want to mention is we've seen Cougarmon. He is a big boy, but him next to Kyo and I'm giving the scratchings, I'm like, damn, he's a big boy. I don't know. not no complaints or anything. I was like, just Cougarmon just seemed like a way bigger. Maybe from the like draw distance we see, it doesn't make him look too big. Like maybe become more like a medium sized just dog. But up close with Kyo and everything, I'm like, this guy is a big boy. And he's a no wonder he becomes Murasamemon. I don't know. Just something I just did pay attention to. Just something I noticed. Like that. Damn, Cougarmon's big. And there's like even an earlier scene that where you see is just size. I don't know. It was just something to point out. But yeah. So overall, this is a solid episode. I just think it didn't break any grounds, and this episode would be better in a binge. So if you skip this week and then maybe binge it with the next week's episode, I could see that going forward. That's the vibe it gives off for me. But I definitely think it was definitely better on second watching just the first version. I'm like, oh, okay. We haven't had anything super new. I don't know. And I mean, I guess we do have the good fight scenes. I don't know. I think if Wolvermon had been introduced in episode 2 or something, maybe I would have dug this a little bit better, but I don't know. I needed a little bit more spice to me. Now, speaking in the next episode, I want to mention this. So we see a Pandamon. The next episode looks very good. We see a Pandamon. We're going to see Kinkekimon. We're going to see Astamon, so we see a lot of cool, interesting Digimon. But this guy's cloak symbol kind of got me thinking. I'm like, where have I seen that from before? And I pieced it together, actually. It kind of reminds me of the missions, the mission select screen for Digimon Story Time Stranger. I don't know. I don't think that's actually that. I think this is part of a dojo or something. This could be connected to Shambhala region. I'm not 100% sure, but it just like, where have I seen that symbol before? I'm like, oh, there. And I didn't realize he had a cloak on until I actually looked at Pandamon. I'm like, oh, he's got a coat on. I'm like, I missed that detail, but yeah. So I've rambled long enough. Hopefully have a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys next time for Half and Half. Seems like there's going to be a lot more action. I'm thinking Geckomon's champion is not coming next week's episode. I think it's going to be episode 6, I'm thinking. I think they would give a little bit more teaser to the evolution. Now, I could be wrong. They could actually Digivolve them, try to be a little bit more secretive, but the vibe of this episode for the preview, it doesn't scream champion level. Maybe we'll see a more extended preview, and maybe we'll confirm that. But no, I think maybe this Pandamon will train Geckomon or teach him a little bit, but I don't know. I just got the feeling that we're going to be waiting a little bit longer for that. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful Monday. Take care. Like, comment, and subscribe.